What's up, guys? It's Sliger here in the garage building my 2013 Kawasaki ZX6. It's going pretty smooth. I pretty much just added a half frame from STUNTERX and a subframe and a few other parts on the bike, and obviously fixing things and cleaning things up. And the frame went on pretty good, went pretty smooth. But this video is pretty much for some tips and tricks that maybe you guys would like to have in the garage, and also that will maybe benefit you in the lot or when you're riding, just so you don't have to worry about having a problem later. And maybe they're not tips at all, but it's just some of the things that I like to do when I'm building my bike, and some of the things I like to have, so I have a little peace of mind when I'm riding. So enjoy the video, you guys. For my 0304, I noticed it had a lot of bog issues, like it was just getting too much air, and because we also run these shorty pipes, which doesn't restrict a whole lot of air, so you got to kind of develop somewhat of the same concept that the bike was designed for. And when you just open up that whole air box completely to nothing, you're pretty much eliminating the way the bike's designed to run, because it's based upon airflow. And I kind of developed something that is pretty simple. Takes like 5 minutes to put in, but you're pretty much just mimicking the same concept that the stock frame does for you. Pretty much the air box goes against the stock frame, and then it breathes through and around the neck through the inside of the frame. And I pretty much just take this tubing, I cut it into the shape at an angle, as you can see. Obviously I cut a little smaller piece on there, and I fit it inside the air box. See right here inside this air box, you can kind of see the cone. I wish I would have put the bike together already, but you can see how I added that in there. Obviously that's not supposed to be in here, and I'm talking about that little dude right there. Kind of see how it's round, and it's got a channel around the steering stem, and you can actually see it actually gets round inside over here on the edges too, so it's pretty much like a tunnel that you need to develop. Anyway, I noticed it helped me out a lot. I noticed it took away a lot of the bogging and gave me back some of the power that I was missing. So if you put on a steel frame and your box is completely open, that is a tip. Let's continue on. I still got the gas tank, I still got the cage, some stunt parts to put on, a few odds and ends here and there, and I still got to wire some stuff up, battery, control, fans, all that good stuff. But most of the hard stuff is already done, and let's keep on.
For the devil's on his way, so you pray, but you can't hide, when evil calls your name. For the devil's on his way, so you pray, but you can't hide, when evil calls your name.
Got another tip for you guys, especially if you run stock frames. This will help prevent you from breaking the arm off of the frame that mounts the motor, and also will prevent you from cracking your head. But what I do is I run these little rubber blocks in between my cage and my frame. You can kind of see down there how I have this one. But I basically put those in between there. There's one down here that Blindside Armor supplies as a plastic block, but I put those in there so it absorbs a lot of the impact. Pretty much replace them like twice a year, but this is a used one. But what it does is just, you know, imagine hitting your bike with a rubber mallet, and then imagine hitting it with a hammer. You know, you got metal to metal to metal, and then concrete, and that's just way too much. That's just too much impact. And then so you put this rubber block in there to absorb all that, and basically I've never cracked a head or a frame in this area of any kind since the day I started riding, because I started using those blocks about 7 or 8 years ago when I first put a cage on my bike. So very good tip to have, you guys. Here's a tip for the guys riding ZX6s, especially for 09 and up. This gas tank, there's really nowhere to mount anything in here to stabilize it, to keep it from, you know, wanting to rock. I just kind of took one of those same rubber blocks that I used for my cage, and I drilled a hole and then connected it right down here. There's a little hole there in case I want to zip tie it to the frame, but that will help keep the bike from moving around up and down and keeps it nice and steady.